By week 2, something shifted that I genuinely did not expect, and it had nothing to do with sleep. I'm going to show you exactly what happened over 30 days of taking magnesium glycinate every single night, week by week, no hype. What worked, what didn't, when I noticed it, and the one thing that surprised me enough that I actually looked up the research mid-experiment. But I want to be upfront. I went into this pretty skeptical. I'd heard magnesium called a cure-all so many times, it had basically become meaningless to me. So I treated this like a real test. Same sleep schedule, same diet, tracked my results. Here's what I actually found. Before we get into the timeline, real quick because this actually matters, magnesium glycinate isn't just magnesium. Magnesium on its own is a mineral. Your body uses it for over 300 enzymatic processes: muscle function, protein synthesis, blood glucose regulation, nervous system signaling. Most people are running low on it, partly because modern soil is depleted and partly because stress burns through your magnesium stores faster than almost anything else. But the form matters a lot. Magnesium oxide, which is the cheap stuff in most generic supplements, has about a 4% absorption rate. You're basically paying for something your body flushes. Glycinate is magnesium bound to glycine, which is an amino acid. Two things happen. One, the glycine acts like a chaperone that gets it absorbed through the intestine more efficiently. Two, glycine itself is calming. It's actually an inhibitory neurotransmitter, so you're getting a double mechanism. That's why this form specifically gets recommended for sleep and anxiety rather than, say, magnesium citrate, which is better for digestion. I took 400 milligrams every night, about an hour before bed. That's within the commonly recommended range. Some people go lower to start, 200 milligrams, especially if they're sensitive. I'll talk about that more later. Week 1, days 1 through 7. Week 1 was honestly subtle. I'm not going to tell you I had some dramatic transformation in 7 days because I didn't. What I did notice around day 3 or 4 was that when I got into bed, I felt less wired. That's the best way I can describe it. Like my brain wasn't doing that thing where it starts running through every email you forgot to send. Not sedated, just quieter. My sleep tracker showed a small uptick in deep sleep percentage. We're talking maybe 8 to 12%. Not huge, but it was consistent from night 4 onward, and that's what caught my attention. The Oura Ring is something I've had for about 8 months now. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it in this video, but if you want accurate sleep stage data without wearing a device on your face, it's genuinely the most useful tracking tool I've found. Link in the description if you're curious. No dramatic changes to how I felt during the day in week 1, but I wasn't expecting any. Magnesium isn't a stimulant. The effects build. Week 2, days 8 through 14. Week 2 is where things got more interesting. And this is the thing I mentioned at the start, the thing I didn't expect. My anxiety was noticeably lower, and I mean that specifically, not just a vague, I feel better. The low-grade background stress that I carry around most of the day was quieter. I noticed it most in situations that would normally spike my stress. Back-to-back meetings, a tight deadline, that usual tight feeling in my chest. It was just less. Here's why that makes sense. Magnesium regulates NMDA receptors. These are glutamate receptors in the brain that are heavily involved in the stress response. When magnesium levels are low, those receptors become overactive. You're more reactive, more on edge. Correcting the deficiency doesn't sedate you. It brings you back to baseline. That's a meaningful distinction. I also noticed my jaw was less clenched when I woke up. I've dealt with jaw clenching on and off for years. By week 2, it had almost completely stopped. That's the muscle relaxation effect. Magnesium acts as a natural calcium antagonist. It keeps muscles from staying in a contracted state. Sleep quality continued to improve. I was falling asleep faster. Not dramatically, but I went from averaging maybe 25 to 30 minutes to fall asleep down to around 12 to 15. For me, that was significant. Weeks 3 and 4. Days 15 through 30. By week 3, the effects had stabilized. I don't mean they stopped. I mean they became my new normal, which is actually the sign of something working. The biggest difference by this point was morning energy, not the kind of thing where you bounce out of bed. More like, I stopped needing 20 minutes of lying there, convincing myself to get up. My body felt like it had actually recovered during the night. I also started noticing something with my muscle recovery. I do weight training 4 days a week, and soreness that would usually linger 2 or 3 days was resolving faster. Magnesium plays a direct role in protein synthesis and muscle repair. So this wasn't a surprise when I looked into it, but it wasn't something I'd tracked going in. This is also around when I started stacking my magnesium with a glycine powder, separate from the capsules, just added it to water at night. Glycine on its own has research behind it for sleep quality, specifically around lowering core body temperature. If you want to go deeper on that, I've been using the one from Momentous, also in the description. Not required with magnesium glycinate since you're already getting glycine, but if sleep is your main goal, it's worth looking into. By week 4, the anxiety reduction had compounded. I'd go as far as saying my stress tolerance in general was just higher, more headroom before I'd hit a wall. That's a hard thing to quantify, but it was real enough that people around me commented on it without me saying anything. Final results. So after 30 days, here's what I can say with confidence. Sleep onset. Fell asleep faster, reliably, from week 2 onward. Deep sleep percentage up. Jaw clenching gone. Morning grogginess significantly reduced. Anxiety, lower baseline, meaningfully so. Muscle recovery, faster, and no side effects. 0. One thing I want to flag on dosing, because I see people get this wrong. Start lower than you think you need. 400 milligrams is where I landed, but I started at 200 milligrams for the first week just to see how my body responded. If you jump straight to a high dose, some people get loose stools. That's the magnesium drawing water into the gut. Glycinate is much gentler than other forms, but it's still worth easing in, and take it at night, not because it makes you pass out, but because that's when your body uses it most, and the calming effect is actually helpful for sleep. Also, and this matters, if you're on any medications, particularly blood pressure medications or antibiotics, check with your doctor first. Magnesium can interact with absorption of certain drugs. Would I keep taking it? Yeah, I'm still taking it. It's one of the few supplements where the research and my personal experience actually line up, which, if you spend any time in the supplement space, you know is not always the case. If you've tried magnesium glycinate and had a different experience, especially if it didn't work for you, I actually want to know. Drop it in the comments. Specifically curious whether people who saw no effect had done any blood work to check their baseline magnesium levels first, because that matters more than most people think. And if you want to go deeper on the sleep side, why your sleep quality might still be off even if you're doing everything right, there's a video right here that covers sleep architecture in a way that's actually useful, not just the same go to bed earlier advice.